Alright, so this video is just meant to be like a quick video showcasing some of the relic builds I have been making for Guardian specifically, for Deep of Night, since I realized he's way more of an asset, compared to some of the other characters that, die in like 1 or 2 hits in Deep of Night. So I just recently got back to Depth 4, and it's Nightreign for Deep Night is really just a grinding thing. Like, I know I could easily just hit Depth 5, but it's like, it's a time thing. It's like mainly three things. It's a time thing, as in if you have the time to actually dedicate to the game. It's a thing of queuing luck, especially if you're doing it randoms with randoms. If you're doing it with a team, it's just way easier to hit that 5 as long as you're dealing with competent people again. And I guess the other thing will be, and I feel like the other thing might be just how well your team synergizes with each other and how well they know specific bosses and stuff. Especially, well, bosses as in bosses or night lords. Because really this game is just a grind fest. It's something that it kind of, as the more you notice, it kind of strays from the initial Souls formula of, okay, if you know this boss, you dodge it well enough, with you spam B, not spam, literally spam B, but you roll enough to fucking beat the boss while hitting them, deal damage some way, and you win. It kind of strays very far from that formula, because even if you are the most masterful dodger, you can clutch it out for your team if the boss is really high, but at the end of the day, you're faced with human error, and that's also the reason why I play Guardian, because if you're playing Guardian, all you do with human error, you do this. And that's all you have to do. Like, but, yeah, and you live longer with Guardian as well. But, so yeah, I'll always advocate for Guardian. It's just a matter of if you're good enough to actually play him, because he has a, I would say, high ceiling for sure, compared to some of the other cast members, which are sometimes easier to play. I hate the glass cannons. I prefer actually living in a game that's very punishing, especially Deep of Night, so I play Guardian. And this is why this is gonna be a main Guardian thing. But yeah, if you're in Deep of Night and you are, for example, like just you're, even if you know all of the bosses stuff, like theoretically you will actually beat the boss, sure. But especially if you're doing it trios, which like Deep of Night, I know it's supposed to be a relic build, but it's kind of turned into a Deep of Night discussion video as well, a little bit. But just for this small part, that I will say that, like, as I said, if you know all of the boss's attacks and you just roll them, it's like you still have to factor in that you have the trios, and most of the time you won't want to have Deep of Night trios, because if you do Deep of Night as solo, I mean, you're just like a masochist, like in general, and I understand if anybody actually does the solo. It's I can, I wouldn't agree with them to do it solo, but especially after certain depths. But good job on you if you're actually doing this solo at like depth 4 and depth 5, because you're still gonna take the same amount of damage as you would do. The boss's health bars and Night Lord's health bars will be a little bit less because it's in solo mode, but you are still gonna take the same amount of damage, etc., right? So Deep of Night is really like a trio mode. I would hardly even say it's a duo mode, because in trios you're gonna get everybody being able to res each other. If you're in duos, one person dies, the other person's in a bad situation, the other person's gonna get fucked, right? And then your entire run's over just because you ran 2 people instead of 3. But yeah, those are just those 3 factors I would consider with Deep Night that I mentioned, the aforementioned. I really don't consider this a mode that is something skill based. Like if you reach that 5, it's more a thing of maintaining it rather than actually being like, oh, I can reach step 5. I'm such a good player. Like, no, it's not really like that. It's not something to brag about. I would say it's just that you had the time, you had the team, and you had the team that knows what they're doing with the knowledge of the team has the knowledge to handle each boss and each night lord in a specific manner. Um, so yeah, those things apply to Demon Knight. What I will say for Guardian is that I've been realizing of quite a few things with the relics, and this is what kind of still gets you playing the customization part of the relic system. So, for example, I have all of the relic stuff. He For him, like I bought everything. I haven't even used some of them, like this one, and the other one, because most of the time, Guardians relics are really good in the blue category. So um, for example, which is Bruges, Dark Knight of the Fathom, you'd find these things being more used alongside Guardian builds. Um, a lot of the blue ones that are like that. Um, you can find effects on almost all of the relics, so it doesn't regardless of the color and stuff, but this is still what I find as appropriate. Um, the thing with Guardian I've been noticing is that before, like, there was a time where, like a couple videos back, I used to do stuff of him having a loadout that was. Let me see if I can find it still. Um, it used to be something like this, right? So something where it has the max HP for each enemy defeated at a great church, something like that, right? And it used to have something to that effect. This used to be what I used to use back in the day. You can see the date there. Um, this is not really a thing anymore because of the new map and the fact that not everybody will be running this as a team. So what I've been noticing is that if you really want to maximize your relic stuff with Guardian, in my opinion, you're gonna want to use what I've been using recently or something similar to it, which is more so Tree Great Shield Deep of Night or like the medium shield. So what this means is that you're gonna have to either collect Great Shields. There's a small shield variant, but it wouldn't obviously that's kind of bullshit with Guardian. You either want at least a medium shield or the Great Shield. And the thing is, even if you have the medium shield will not carry much to depths 4 and 5. So what you'd want to do, what I've been doing is that for certain runs, I will have the medium shields in the back in my inventory. So have like 3 medium shields, have them have good effects, because of course you want your passives to still be very good. And then when you have those 3 medium shields, you're also having a great shield there that also has good effects, and you'll be using mainly the great shield for your steel guarding and everything associated with it. Um, you will, and for the great shield one, it's way simpler because you start off with a great shield. You're starting off with your default shield, that great shield that Guardian has, and all you'd have to do is collect 2. For this one, for these medium shield ones, even though it does have the dormant power, all these have the dormant power, right? But you still have to actually collect more for the medium shield. You have to collect all 3. And it's better if you have like a merchant or something, because I can just tell my team, okay, you guys, there's a merchant there that has the shields, which actually happened very recently. Um, everybody bought me like one, everybody bought me like 1 each, so of course that would be 2, and then I just bought the other one, and like that's how I got it from there. So if the dormant power doesn't come into play, which it usually should because it's as an effect, you'd still get your HP bonus, and the HP bonus is actually very very good. Um, off the top of my head, I think it's like about 10 vigor. But if you want, and you can check all the relic effects. There's a spreadsheet available. I think you can ask around on the Elden Ring Discord. I think it would have it as well, the official Discord that's used by the community. But alongside that, you also have, so when you have these max HP up ones, once you satisfy that condition, you obviously keep it in your inventory for the Night Lord, and when the game's done, the game's done. But you can also, if you get really good relic luck, or just use the brooch for example, you can stack vigor. So for example, with this one I have, it says vigor plus 3, and then vigor plus 2. So I'm getting the vigor that would have been established from the great shields right there. Once I get from the dormant power, which will discover it, and then I'm getting the extra vigor plus 2 and then plus 3, which will equal vigor plus 5. So if you were to I think each of them gives, each point in vigor is gonna give you 20 HP. So when you have this 3 plus 2 vigor here, you're gonna get 100 HP. And then when you have the max HP with the great shields, you're gonna get 200, because it's gonna be 10, which will obviously be times 2 the what you'd have from 3 plus 2. Because like I said, when you get the max HP up, it's gonna be 10 whole points added. So that's gonna just be, you can consider that as 15 points of vigor that you're gonna get as long as you satisfy these very easy conditions. And what that makes it, why that makes it better as a thing towards, that was better than the church thing from the earlier, even though the church thing can technically stack. But of course, like I said, you have the new map now, and you have the you have people wanting to do things like night invaders and stuff, compared to, say, even if you want to say let's do the churches guide, it's gonna be all over the place. Like, you're not gonna, even if you do like one church, you would get an HP bonus, but it really isn't worth it anymore, because at the end of the day, everybody has their priorities with their kit, and it's way better to do something where you can personalize it to your benefit within your kit, rather than having to say for the entire team to do this specific thing just because you have this specific thing of the church thing I was mentioning earlier. It's not as beneficial anymore, even though it still technically exists in the game. But yeah, 15 points of vigor established, or and even the 10 you just get from the max HP from either medium shields or the great shields is still something that it's still something that is really good, because like I said, you can't really beat having more health, especially as Guardian. And the thing I do as well for some of these, like, I run it with negations. So for example, this one right here, you can see that I am running it with the same thing that I mentioned of getting the medium shields, but I'm also running it with a lot of negation added in. So I took all the best negations that I had, I searched them, and I just put them in there to help. And I believe that at least from the spreadsheet that I looked at for the negations, you'd want the Deep of Night one for the negations, because I think plus 1 is like 10% or so, and then plus 2 is 12%. So you're getting added onto that, and then when you're in the game, you're also gonna get, of course, for the dormant powers, you're gonna get perks for adding on to that negation that you already have from your relics, and all of that is just gonna be really good for you. Um, I think that's mostly it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I just wanted to showcase most of these relic builds that I've been running in Deep of Night, mainly just these ones. There is like stuff I've been using, like pure defense and stuff. Um, but the others I've been using are kind of been outdated or surpassed because I realized that most of the time in Deep of Night you either want to prioritize for Guardian at least your health for sure and your negations. Those two things are like extremely important because once you reach those higher depths, it is gonna be like fucking insanity to stay in check of just every damage, every point of damage that's gonna just like immediately tank your health bar as soon as you get hit and you're like, oh shit. You don't wanna be like, oh shit when your entire team is dying. You wanna be in control and ready to help out if you needed to, right? So this is why I just my brain just automatically thought, okay, I need to just switch my approach and definitely go back to this HP thing and this damage negate thing, and that's basically it. If I come up with any other relic things that deviate from this, which I highly doubt, because it's so important to prioritize the HP and the damage negation, I will make a second video of this. But I think that's mostly it for now. The other characters, like I said, I don't see myself ever really playing in Deep of Night. I might just play them casually because I just feel like Guardian is it for Deep of Night for me, at least. Yeah, that's it. Bye bye.